What happens when leaders in an organization teach important skills to their team? Change sticks. It's effective at creating real change, especially for culture change. Here is the research on why it works, 3 cautions to consider when doing this, and the key next steps for making leader-led training a reality. In a large aerospace organization, we employed a team of professional trainers to conduct a culture change class that focused on accountability conversations. The initial focus included senior leaders such as VPs and directors. Then, these leaders were asked to teach the class in short mini-lessons to their teams. We trained them, coached them, and the leaders who were willing taught the lessons to their teams. We also conducted workshops the traditional way with a professional trainer in parts of the organization where leaders weren't willing to step into the trainer role. The leaders who taught loved the experience, although their direct reports were less enthusiastic. Since we had 2 training approaches, I conducted an evaluation. Which approach, leader as teacher or the traditional workshop, worked best? When I asked participants about their experience, the professional trainer course participants clearly loved the class experience much more than the leader-led classes. Wait a minute. The professional courses were more effective? No, I said they loved the course experience more than leader-led courses. Witty, engaging professional trainers created an amazing workshop experience compared to the dull, boring, awkward managers. To most people, that makes sense, but what about effectiveness? When I asked about critical incidents or examples of when they were able to apply workshop skills to daily challenges, leader-led groups provided 7 times more examples. That is a 700% increase compared to the professionally led workshops. 700%. There was no comparison when it came to real examples of course effectiveness. But why were the boring leader-led mini-workshops so effective? First, your boss is advocating the course skills. Second, your boss is using real examples from your work environment. Third, your boss is following up with you in formal and informal meetings about how the skills are being applied. And teaching helped leaders improve. One leader who taught summed it up well: teaching is leading. No wonder many companies use a form of leader-led training on skills that matter, especially when it comes to culture change. So, why not conduct leader-led training? Where can it derail? Pay attention to 3 critical factors to avoid failures. 1. Make sure the skills targeted in the leader-led interventions are strategically critical. Asking busy leaders to make teaching a priority is powerful, but don't abuse it. Use it only for the most important skills. 2. Provide support in the form of course materials and break it down into mini-lessons. Support also means that you provide some coaching and assistance with the early courses so they feel comfortable with the course materials. And third, this is controversial, but make it optional. Some leaders aren't cut out for a teaching role, at least at first. In our case, the early successes encourage the resistant leaders to step into the teaching role, but before you go crazy in the comments, consider why making it optional worked. We didn't want reluctant, resistant leaders to fake support and derail the leader as teacher intervention. We needed early successes to keep the momentum going. And it worked. For that reason, I strongly suggest that if you're new to this concept in your organization, that you start with the willing, then encourage the resistant to jump on board when they're ready. So that brings us to the key next steps. How do we get something like this going if we want to change company culture for the better? As I mentioned, do this only for critical skills, usually those aligned with a culture change focus. Move away from vague, value-based concepts and make it as behavioral as possible. For example, rather than pound your fist on the table shouting, "We hold people accountable," narrow it to a behavior such as, "When there is a missed expectation or gap, I speak up to understand the cause." Have training professionals create materials and lesson guides and provide coaching to assist leaders in doing a credible job facilitating these learning experiences. If you're wise in implementing it, it can transform a culture. Thanks for joining us at the Change Capability Institute. Like and subscribe to this channel for more content like this.